Coffee and Pan Dulce. How's that? Coffee and Pan Dulce.
Barb Bacon, and I'm a community advocate here in South Charlotte. If I had my buttons on today, it would be, let's get some gun control. I'm tired of looking at the news and seeing this. Black Lives Matter in honor of our friend Joel. And let's have equal rights for everybody.
This is Jenny James Gunn. I am a community advocate here in Charlotte, North Carolina for LGBT women's rights with the National Organization for Women, gun sense laws with Moms and Men Action, and anything that extends equity to all. Thank you.
Hey, I'm Christian Cano. You're the co-host. My buttons are Moms and Men Action, gun sense legislation, healthcare for all, Medicare for all, and also in my heart, Black Lives Matter on behalf of Joe Oldham, who's a guest of ours who passed away last year. That's it.
Good morning, everybody. It is another edition, the May 17th edition of not Two Queers in a Truck, but Coffee Pan Dulce, with a little country music dysfunction going on because for some reason Christian's chosen music platform only wants to play this. So
I don't know what's going on there.
we have nothing against it, but we normally try to play Tejano Latin type music as a start the show since our English speaking LatinX based show. And anyway, but we'll just roll with it. You know, it wasn't a bad song. And country music's big where we come from, and
that's right.
Used to be called the great state of Texas, is now is the terrorist state of
West Afghanistan.
West Afghanistan, and it's probably an insult.
That's right.
But anyway, how you doing, Boo?
Good. Good morning. As Jenny said, today is May 17th when you see this. And I apologize. Not only am I having musical technical issues, but I'm kind of like out of alignment in my shot here. So it's all, hey. The good news is, as you talk about on your show, it was we taped this on May the 10th. This drops on May 17th. But when we taped this the day before, it was a bad day for Republicans, wasn't it? Or at least MAGAs.
I mean, you know, it's one of those things is that, you know, they've done, you know, we're almost into a decade of Trumpism and MAGAism, and which is really just a long line of, you know, a half century of Republicanism that is. Every president they've had has been some sort of criminal. And so I'm not shocked that Trump got, you know, convicted in a civil court and found to be guilty of sexual assault and defamation. I'm just sad that more women haven't gotten justice. I'm so happy for E. Jean Carroll and her victory in court. She absolutely deserved it. And what a great day for the Me Too movement and the Women's March to see a predator like Donald J. Trump
being held accountable,
get exactly what has coming to him and more. And I hope the 30 or so other women that made the allegations of sexual assault against him. I would encourage them to, even though it's hard. It's hard as an assault victim to go into court and relive that moment.
Yeah.
It's people forget that. I don't care how long it's been, even if you can't remember the dates, you remember the moment, and that they were crime victims, and that predator Donald Trump, you're in the same room with him. You're in this. And I'm so glad that she got the justice she deserved.
Sure.
And I'm glad that he got the justice shit sandwich that asshole deserves.
Exactly.
He's an absolutely horrible human being.
Yeah, I agree, Jen. And as we're going to talk about this a little bit more here in our Barb's Current Events. So
right.
Save some of what you're going to say. But as Jenny said, welcome everyone to Coffee and Pan Dulce. Coffee and Pan Dulce. I'm Christian Cano, one of your co-hosts, along with Jenny Gunn and Barb Bacon. Barb Bacon is off today. She's helping some of her neighbors again, as she always does in her retirement years. We want to thank those who join us on Facebook Live, but also those who join us on YouTube, and the thousands who listen to us on your favorite audio podcast platform. As Jenny has said, today is May 17th. When you drop this is our 246th show. Wow, 246. We got 2 more in May, and then we start our summer shows, which are going to be fabulous, including where we broadcast from Key West, Florida. So undisclosed location. That's going to be fun. I hopefully we'll have some guests on that are in Key West that'll make the show really more fun than it already is. So if you're watching the show, I do want to thank St. Bernie once again for joining us, and then MAGA Queen. Is that what that says? I only have one context on. MAGA Queen, Baby Trump Pinata. Is that?
Yeah,
I didn't know.
You have
okay.
Up there.
Well, yeah.
I
want to thank. I do. So I want to, and I change it. And the fact that I didn't remember what I changed it to, I guess not sure what that means. But let's go, as Jenny said, let's go directly into Barb's current events.
And this is Barb's current events.
All right, so here's Barb's current events. The very first current event, Jenny, I haven't gone over this with you, so one of them you already know, I guess. So, first one, Trump was held accountable, was held liable for sexual abuse and defamation. So that occurred, and I think it was up to $5 million that the lady who did that was awarded in New York. That was big news. The second big news, almost 2 hours after that, or maybe an hour after that, the favorite queen of the MAGAs, George Santos, it was leaked, or I'm not sure if it was leaked or whatever, but when you see this, he will either have appeared in court or something. We will know exactly what the charges are, but he's being charged by the federal he's being charged federal charges on something. We can only speculate. That's interesting to hear. And actually, he hasn't tweeted since that happened, so it has kept him quiet for a little bit. And then this is a very interesting one that I thought, I want to see what you think about this. In Nashville, Tennessee, there was a hotel manager, a night hotel manager at a Hilton hotel who, anyway, there was a guest that was visiting that hotel overnight, woke up to this hotel manager sucking on his toes. And he's suing the hotel. The guy got arrested. It turns out this guy has a history of a rap sheet of attempted murder or someone else, and whole rap sheet. Anywho, this is all happening, and the reason it's coming out is because he's suing Hilton. He's suing, all these individuals. And so I want to hear what you have to say about that one. That's kind of a bizarre one. So Jenny, in 30 seconds or less, tell us what you think about those Barb's current events.
So I saw the Toe Bandit I saw that video on the Twitter, and in fact, I almost put that in my show. Moved to 3 for 3. But I kind of forgot about it, and I waited to the last minute and wrote out my show this morning, even though I pretty much knew what I wanted to say. Absolutely very bizarre. I don't kink shame anybody, but I think you just don't practice your kinks where you work. I didn't really read up on the fact that he had a history of criminality.
That's just no picture.
He's pretty freaky deaky looking. And the fact that he stuck into somebody's room and is sucking their toes when he doesn't probably know them, and on top of that, doesn't know their bathing habits and stuff like that. That's absolutely fucking nasty. I'm sorry, babe. It's one thing to do it in a bedroom and do it with a lover that you actually know, and you know if they've washed their feet or not, or what kind of funguses they have. But to pick a random guest in a hotel that you work at, of course that's going to wake somebody up, because I can barely get my toenails done by a nail tech without me knee jerking and flipping around for a little while until I can kind of calm. Because my toes, everybody's toes are very sensitive. Yeah. But just what a freak. I love it in a certain way, because it's just kind of crazy. It's a crazy news story. But yeah, I would sue the shit out of that fucking out of the Hilton for having a manager like that. Like, yeah, I probably better pick your managers a little bit better. But as far as Trump, yeah, I mean, absolutely 100% deserves this and more. And he's got more coming to him. But clearly it's a great victory for women everywhere. It's a great victory for E. Jean Carroll. She absolutely deserves this victory. The things that he's said about her over the years is absolutely uncalled for. And that's why, I'm not going to ever call him President Trump again. I'm going to call him Predator Donald J. Trump. Because he is a predator. And then, of course, big old Queen, Katara, DeVolder, George Santos, the courts, the federal court system of Eastern New York is hearing this thing. It's the DOJ campaign ethics part of the Department of Justice that's doing this investigation. So it has something to do with his campaign in 2022. Is all they're saying. It'll be released today when he's read the charges, obviously, and has to face the music for his behaviors. As we all know, he's a pathological liar. Even Republicans are asking him to step down. McCarthy's looking at removing him out of Congress, and his many of his colleagues have said, "Hey, dude," especially in neighboring districts where other Republicans are seated, are saying, "Look, you just got too much going on. You need to step away." And he should. He should for several reasons. Is one, the dude lied his way in office. There's no there's a certain point in time where the Republicans have got to start policing their own. They got to start cleaning up this shit show that they call a political party. I don't consider them a political party anymore. I consider them a terrorist cell.
Well, I mean, I agree.
This is just, he's one of many Republicans that's unfit for office. The majority of the Republicans right now are unfit for office. Whether it's the lieutenant governor of our state of North Carolina, that's an absolute bigot. You shouldn't bring your personal feelings and your bigotry and your fragile religious beliefs and toxic beliefs into office. There should be a separation. If it's personal, whether it's the toe sucker or a personal belief or whatever, you keep that at home. You keep that in your bedroom. They always accuse the LGBT community for flaunting or forcing or accuse us of a gay agenda. We're trying to make the whole world gay. But yeah, they'll force feed their Christian beliefs and their quacky, crazy personal beliefs on people all the time. You can't have it both ways. Is that you either and behave your fucking self, and let's get to the issues that our country really needs us to address, or just don't get into politics if you're that big of a nut job.
Well, that's a good point, Jen. And with the Trump thing, of course, you've said everything that I think most people are thinking. I completely agree. Him finally being held accountable. This was just the tip of the iceberg of what we're going to be seeing over the next year with everything all the legal issues that he's got going on. It's the chickens are coming home to roost with Trump. George Santos, I said on your show drops after this one. We've already taped it, full disclosure. And I said, I got the sense that he wasn't expecting this, that he was thinking that maybe, I don't know if they were supposed to contact him. I think he thinks, or he thought, I don't know, that he was going to get a call. Hey, just want to let you know, we're going to charge you, so be prepared for it. That's not how they work. I'm sure he knew they were investigating him because I'm sure he was interviewed or he was asked questions or someone on his staff, but I don't think he thought there was a secret. It was a real secret grand jury was already convened, and it went very, very quickly. So that is interesting to see him being held accountable. And then with the hotel, the hotel toe sucker, as you have so eloquently named him, it was a real interesting story for me because, as you may or may not know, I spent almost over 30 years in the hotel business as a hotel manager and hotel consultant, and that is a very bizarre story. This guy obviously is not all there. In the hotel business, we do background checks, but we don't do and we do criminal background checks. Every company, and I try to remind people this because I think a lot of people don't truly understand how the hotel industry works. The hotel industry is not as organized as people would want to think. They think all Hiltons are Hiltons. They think all Marriotts are Marriotts. They think all, whatever. They're franchises. They're like your mom and pop McDonald's. They're not all owned by McDonald's. They're managed by a different company. They're owned by a different company, but they buy the franchise name. So every management company, whoever manages this hotel, which is probably owned by an individual or owned by a company or whatever, they all have their own screening processes. And not everyone is going to do an in-depth screening on a manager. This person was a night manager, and so, I can see, even though it's very rare, because usually when you have someone like this, you just don't promote them to manager because there are signs. Usually if you work with someone very closely, especially in the hotel business, because it's like a house, when someone is in your house for that long, there are signs that this person may be a little wacko. So you should not be putting this person in charge of the entire house overnight when people are asleep. So There's some serious issues with not only this management company, but the ownership of this company. And Hilton's not going to be sued because Hilton doesn't actually own this hotel. It's just a more stain on their brand, But this is a very weird, unusual situation.
But depending on how their franchise agreement is written, as same with any franchise chain, is they could get their franchise taken from them too. So
the hotel can, yes.
I mean, the ownership group can actually lose the licensure to be able to have the Hilton name on that deal, just like a McDonald's. McDonald's gets shut down for different reasons, but McDonald's as a parent company, as far as the franchisor, can say to the franchisee, you're not cutting it, or your store is underproducing, or you're not keeping up to our standards, and they can pull the franchise from that owner. And so I wouldn't be shocked to see this group maybe lose, if a lot of allegations come out of this trial, it could be an issue.
The only pause I have about this story, because we don't know the whole story.
Sure.
The only pause I have about this story is there's something else going on here.
Oh,
I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is because I'm not part of this group. I don't know anybody from this hotel group. I don't know anybody from the management company. I don't know any of that. But there's something. It is not normal. Well, first of all, this is not normal. Unless this hotel manager had like just a crazy episode, it is not normal for a hotel manager of any, even if he was completely deranged, to single out one single person. There's something, I don't know. Apparently this hotel manager had to go into this person's room earlier because there was some kind of problem with the person's room. Okay. I'm not suggesting that this person led this person on. I don't know all of that, but there's something very, very unusual. And I think with this lawsuit, I do think that we're going to find that out. We're going to, like in the discovery stage, I think there's more to this story, and we're going to come back, when this all comes out, and we're going to go, oh my, there's something.
Well, maybe
I don't know how
they just came out of the shower and they had bare feet, and that night manager just said, "Those are some
my.
Oh my! Look at the pretty toes."
Well, I think to your point, because we're up against our first break, I think to Jenny's point, the one thing that I have to say is it wasn't a drag queen.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah. All right. So we're up against our first break, and we'll be right back on Coffee and Pan Dulce to actually talk about our title, which I'll tell you when we come back. Right back on Coffee and Pan Dulce.
Hey, y'all, thanks for watching, and support our local black and brown businesses, including our sponsor, Manolo Bakery. That has some fabulous pastries, food, king cakes, all kinds of specialty cakes, tamales, and much, much more. Some of the best food we eat in Charlotte, North Carolina. Again, Manolo's Bakery, right here in East Charlotte. Thanks for watching.
All right, so welcome back, everyone. And so this the name of our show, but I want to kind of touch on this a little bit more because this is just a crazy story. The name of our show is Woke Drag Queens, Cancel Culture, CRT-Oh my. Over the last couple of years, all of those topics have been the what the obsession is with MAGAs and Bible bigots and Christian nationalists. This has been their obsession. Hasn't been inflation, was for a little bit. Gas prices, good jobs, all that kind of energy, keeping the lights on in Texas, hasn't been any of those. But back to this hotel thing, Jen, there are thousands and thousands of hotel managers around the country. I mean, thousands. Unless you're part of a bigger hotel or a bigger property management team or whatever, many hotel managers don't go to hotel school. They work their way up within the hotel, and they pay their dues, and then they're because you're put in charge of a multi-million-dollar building and employees and the safety of people, and so there's a lot that goes into it. But there are thousands and thousands and thousands of hotel managers that do a great job every day making sure that people stay safely and enjoy their stay and put up with all kinds of, wedding parties and conventions and groups and airport hotels, which are the worst hotels to manage, airport hotels, all kinds of hotels. So the fact that there's just this one episode, I hope it doesn't give hotel managers and people who are the professionals in the hotel business a stain, because this is really not normal. So, I hope we don't, I hope there's,
I was wondering if the guests got charged extra, because that's a heck of a turn down service, is the washing of toes by the hotel manager's mouth. Not to make light of it, and I guess technically it's a sexual assault.
It is
sometimes, but I can't imagine being the person laying there sleeping.
Sure.
And all of a sudden, creepy McFarlane slips in and fucking is sucking on your toes. Like,
so the guy, yeah.
Like, I mean, I'd wake up, and I just know what my reflexes are like when people suck on my toe or do my feet in a nail salon situation.
Mm-hmm. You and I've had pedicures.
Is I've damn near kicked a nail tech in the face before because they of just accidentally, it's just a reflex. But I'm telling you, my big old flat feet would have punted his head across the room. If somebody startled me, I don't react well to being startled in the middle of the night. Number one.
I'm trying to visualize.
I'm just like there's so many questions. I really
exactly.
This is the first time I've ever wanted to sit on a jury for a trial. Is this toe bandit, this toe sucker?
Sure.
I hope they televise this. I really do. I want to see.
So have you seen the picture of the guy that?
Yeah. I've seen it.
Okay. So apparently this guy. Well, that's kind of my point. So the toe sucker, the toe bandit, and the hotel guest, they both look like maybe, and this is just my own opinion, they look like maybe they were part of some type of fetish club at one time. I don't know. There's something bizarre. Let me tell you. I've had many. The
hotel manager. So I've been to specialty dungeons and events and things like that. Oh, they wouldn't let him in. He looks more like a flasher at a bus stop.
Yes,
a
creeper.
A creeper. He looks like for sure he has a van down by the river. He or a Republican. I mean, he does look very Republican.
Yeah.
He looks like he would go to a MAGA rally. But what a creepy fucking dude. But he clearly has an attraction to people's feet and toes and stuff. But just I'm always fascinated by weirdos like this. Whether it's George Santos or this guy, toe sucker. Because George Santos is a creepy little dude. He really is. Like he probably could have won his election without lying. I think he's a pretty good looking guy. I think when he talks, he doesn't sound like a complete idiot. But yeah, I mean, what a bizarre.
So with this, hey, I want to jump back real quick. The person who got the toes, the guest, the victim, the person who got the filed this lawsuit. That's why it's been all over the news, is because of the lawsuit. Because he's suing this hotel and he's suing Hilton and all the people that are connected to this. What's interesting is in the lawsuit, the victim says that he's suffering from PTSD. He has a difficult time sleeping now because he said he didn't expect when he was sleeping in the hotel. I'm paraphrasing this. He didn't expect when he was sleeping in the hotel to be sleeping like he was camping. That he felt safe in the hotel room, like no one around. Well, as a camper, I've never, ever encountered someone coming and sucking on my toes as a camper. So I'm not sure what this person... but I found it interesting that this person, the description of this person's outrage isn't the same description as, let's say... Oh, I got to break in real quick. I got to cut you off for a second. Okay.
So George Santos just turned himself into authorities in New York. The charges are 7 counts of wire fraud, 3 counts of money laundering, 1 count of theft of public funds, 2 counts of making a materially false statement to the House of Representatives. The decision by federal prosecutors to take action against Mr. Santos marked a precipitous turn in the fortunes of first-term congressmen who went from a symbol of Republican resurgence to a scandal-plagued political punching bag. So 7 counts. So, I mean,
crazy.
These are significant.
And these are federal charges.
This
is not. Yeah.
It's a federal court, so I think it's the federal.
Yeah,
it's
a district of
actually
New York.
In Long Island.
Oh wow!
So that that's where his district is at.
Sure,
but these are little charges. I mean, money laundering, theft of public funds,
sure,
provable, materially false statements to the House of Representatives. These are all along fraud and theft charges that are clearly significant enough for the federal court to take up. This isn't just well, he did pilfer $10 buy lunch or something.
Hey, let's do this, Jen. Let's take our second break and then let's talk about this a little bit more. And then we'll talk into the woke drag queen, because he is an example of the obsession with the MAGAs over the last couple of years and how they have just been projecting who they are. So we're going to take our second break. We're taking a little early, but we'll be right back on Coffee Pan Dulce right after this. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching our Coffee Pan Dulce show every week. Don't forget you can watch us visually on our video podcast platforms on Facebook and YouTube, but you can also listen to us on your favorite audio podcast platforms like Apple, Amazon, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and all of the other ones that your favorite, whatever your favorite is. Once again, thank you for watching us on Coffee Pan Dulce. We'll dance out. Well, welcome back, everyone. And so, as Jenny just said, we're taping this on May the 10th. Full disclosure, we tape a week in advance, and this drops on May 17th. So when you see this, it would have been a week old, but Jenny just read the charges that were being going towards George Santos, the drag queen congressperson. Yeah, I'm not sure I want to put those in the same sentence because that kind of puts a bad taste for drag queens who.
Well, not really. I mean, because he denied it for so long until, of course,
into the pictures.
Which kind of ties into our subject, today is one, especially gay Twitter. They're going to go out and get the receipts. In this day and age of camera phones and things of that nature and social media, somebody's going to put two and two together and they're going to go, oh, that's Katara. Like they didn't, you can't, especially when you win a seat, he has a very distinct look and you can tell he's a big old queen. And so you're not going to trick people for very long. But that, to me, that shows the pattern of this guy is the George Santos being a very dedicated pathological liar. He's really dedicated to the craft of professionally lying. And you look at the charges, the fact that it's money laundering, it's fraud, it's theft. It is the fact that these are crimes of, honestly, character and dishonesty. These aren't crimes where you went out and, scratched somebody's eyes out or anything like that. So
here's a question I have, Jen. Kind of staying on this topic: woke drag queens, cancel culture, CRT. Oh my! So the MAGAs and the MAGA Republicans and the Republican Party in general, over the last 2 years, even longer, they've been so obsessed with woke drag queens, cancel culture, critical race theory, banning books, all of this stuff. And you've said many times that this is kind of their way of distracting people from who they are. But someone like George Santos, and I think you and I have talked about this because you and I went to an event last week here in Charlotte, North Carolina, with other Democrats. I'm a Democrat. And do you think someone like George Santos could actually get elected as a Democrat? Do you think that? Okay.
I don't think so. I'll tell you a lot of reasons why. I mean, one, because he has such problematic political opinions too. So he when I've seen him speak at meetings and even when he was, campaigning, and even before he started campaigning, and he was just trying to be kind of a community advocate. He said a lot of problematic things. He said some things that were transphobic, were cringy.
Okay.
This guy's a good guy. Democrats would have railed back on a guy like this. He clearly is very arrogant. He's very he's overly confident, considering how much of an epic failure he really is.
Yeah.
And a con man. I mean, he lied completely about his background. I mean, he just didn't embellish, added 6 months to a place he worked. He actually lied where he worked at. He lied about his history. He embellished it to the point where you go, it's ridiculous. And
that's
we don't tend to have that problem in our party.
Yeah,
we tend to have people that care more about their community. They care more about our neighbors. Our policies are wildly popular. That we want women to have control over their bodies. We want trans people to have control over their bodies. We want people to marry who they want. We believe in real freedom. We believe in real patriotism, which is defending the medical rights and making sure that our neighbors have the ability to go to the hospital if they need to and not lose their life savings. So we actually love we love our fellow Americans, no matter who you are. That's the big difference between us and the Republicans. Republicans hate Americans, and so he's
other Americans for sure. Yeah.
He's a prototype Republican. He fits in the Republican Party because he hates his neighbors too, and you can feel the hate that comes from him. He's a hateful, pitiful liar, and he's a prime example of what a Republican is.
I'm going to piggyback on what you said, Jenny, and I completely agree with you. Because what I've noticed is, and what we've been saying and we've been seeing, is the Republican Party's standard or for a candidate is completely different than as a Democrat's. First of all, as a Democrat, generally, in order for you to run for office, 9 times out of 10, the majority of the time, you have to have been involved in the party, and you have to been involved in communities and marginalize our communities. They have to know you. So we do get people who run for office who have never held office before, who've not been involved, and they don't really do well. We have not elected someone who's just the most recent person, and I'm not trying to knock this person, but the most recent person here in Charlotte, North Carolina is Dan McCready. Never involved in politics, did not win his office. Almost everyone who wins office as a Democrat has either held office or has been involved in the party or been involved in the community somehow. The Republican Party runs like Dan McCready ran. They've never held office. And then they just run, and then people just kind of support them for whatever reason, and they're not vetted. And so in a way, we almost, without officially vetting people, we do vet people within our party in our own ways. If we had someone that was kind of delusional like George Santos, he wouldn't get to the precinct, past the precinct part. We would be friendly to him, but we would say, this guy's not all there.
But he wouldn't fit in. It would be real obvious.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
I've seen the videotape of him going to these different community meetings and things like that. And the stuff he said was just horrible and stupid.
Sure.
I felt had he done that in a more progressive, like a ID9 meeting or a Moms Demand Action, he looked at it and go, he would have gotten booed or asked to have a seat or asked to leave the meeting because he's a fucking asshole. It's real clear that he doesn't even value his own LGBT community, because he lied about being a drag queen, and then people came up and were showing videos and pictures of him being Katara, and then you go, well, yeah, I guess that is true.
Yeah. Well, he said I wasn't a drag queen. I was dressing in drag.
Yeah, whatever. I was about to make a
sorry,
very blue
I didn't mean to
comment.
snark there.
I'm like, I'm not gay, but I should.
Yeah.
You
I'm
enjoy
not
my
gay, but my boyfriend is. It's just,
I mean, like I have an affinity for sausages, and so it's so bizarre. But this is very typical Republican behavior. This is not a one-off with this chuckle fuck.
No, that's what I was going to say. This is the type of person that could only win as a Republican.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, that's my point. Yeah. Like someone like Marjorie Taylor Greene would not win as a Democrat, even if she was on the other side, because you can't just come out of the blue and win.
First of all, I would suffice it to say it must be a very low information district to vote in somebody like MG. Like to pick her over way more qualified Democrats, more common sense Democrats. Like her last opponent, to pick her over him says a lot about that district, and they have to be just a bunch of dumb meth heads or something, because we shouldn't beat around the bush. Republican rural districts typically are chock full of meth and drugs, and I've lived in those areas. And let's say what it is. Most of the districts where Republicans do really well are rural and suburban places where you have a lot of people that aren't so smart. And they vote for these idiots because they sound good to them. Well, that says a lot when you hear racist, homophobic, xenophobic, idiotic, mouth-breathing statements that MTG, because MTG says a lot of stupid stuff in the public. In the same way with Boebert, the same way with all the Republicans. Ted Cruz, I mean, he embarrasses himself on a daily basis. I mean, you have these jackass chuckle fucks running around constantly saying stupid stuff, and you, as a district or as a state, keep voting these type of people back in. That says a lot about your state. You have to. The excuse of holding your nose and voting for somebody, making the best of two bad choices, is horseshit. It's clearly there's clearly many times when Republicans get voted in and they have a good Democratic person like an Adam Frisch in Colorado with Boebert's district, or Beto against Governor Abbott. Clearly, Beto is the more sane of the two human beings, because Governor Hot Wheels is literally one of the stupidest, bigoted idiots we've ever seen as a governor in Texas, which is friggin' embarrassing that we were the state that a governor like Ma Richards, and we've had governors, both Republican and Democrat, in our history in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. When I lived there as a kid, that clearly had common sense. We even had Republican governors with common sense that did not worry about who went into a bathroom or who wants to go on hormone treatments that are perfectly safe, or who wants to dress up and drag and just entertain, which is your First Amendment right. The fact that these authoritarian chuckle fucks want to take basic human rights away from people and take away free speech, one of the most un-American, unpatriotic, idiotic I've ever seen in my lifetime.
Okay. Well, Jenny, tell us how you really feel.
I mean, Democrats can't have it both ways either. We have got to say when these jackasses talk about CRT, and I'm going, I mean, you're bitching about a college class? You're bitching about a fucking college class, and I'm like, this. They can't teach it in schools because it's too complicated deal. Like all you have to do is screenshot the statewide curriculum. The teachers barely have time to teach because of all these state testing requirements the Republicans have kicked into the state. And you can see, the public can see the curriculum. This is why infuriates me about Democrats is the moment I say, well, I've looked at the curriculum. There's no textbook that covers CRT in any of the public schools, K through 12. They like, where could you show me which classroom actually taught CRT? Do you have a recording of a teacher teaching CRT? Because if you don't, shut the fuck up.
So this is one of the this is one of the things I've noticed, and I think you hit it kind of briefly when you were talking. One of the things that I've noticed, and I hope that we do, is when we were talking about why Democrats, first of all, how we run and all kinds of stuff. But one of the things I don't think that we do enough of is we don't attack, or we don't hold Republicans and their ridiculousness as accountable. We're too nice sometimes. And so the reason I say that is because what's her name? Liz Cheney dropped some ads in New Hampshire, I believe, or one of the early voting states for Republicans. And she's attacking Trump. And I know the Lincoln Project does this all the time. One of the things that we have to start doing, and I think younger Democrats are doing, is whenever we hear ridiculous stuff like what you talked about, when people are attacking CRT, when people are talking cancel culture, when people are talking woke drag queens, we've got to attack them like Republicans attack us. So we have to almost say, why you're concerned about CRT, because it's a college course that you will never, ever have to worry about. I mean, we literally have to attack them. And if that means to sound elitist, I'm sorry, but I think we do have to start attacking them and say, I'm sorry.
You have to stop lying about the Democratic Party, Christian, and say that it's elitist. It's not elitist.
Hold on a second. Jenny, hold on. I wasn't talking about Democrats. I was talking about Republicans. Republicans attack other Republicans as elitists. That's what I was talking about. Liz Cheney is attacking the dumber Republicans as an elitist, which is why the MAGAs hate Liz Cheney, is because they consider Cheney, Bush, those kind of people as elitist. So you have to attack them like an elitist. So I'm not talking about Democrats. I'm talking about Republicans.
But I think the accusation that Democrats are elitist comes out a lot too. And I've heard other Democrats say, I don't want to come off as elitist.
Yeah.
But
no, I've said that. Yeah, I've said that. Yeah.
And I've heard you say that many times.
Yeah.
Is that if you're being truthful.
Sure.
If Cheney is running ads being very truthful about Trump.
Sure.
To me, that's not elitist. It's saying, if you're going to be a dumb fuck and you're going to lie about CRT, for example, we'll use CRT as a prime example.
Yeah.
I'm like, I go, well, then you clearly you can't read, because all you have to do is look at the school curriculum. We don't even have to go delve into what CRT is, because I don't even think no Republican even knows what CRT is.
Exactly. Or woke.
Or woke. And we also, as Democrats, if we get on the same show with a Republican and they start to say woke, you can't use the word if you don't know what it is. What is woke?
Exactly.
And then when they start to back up and they start to we're not going to change the fucking subject until you can tell me what woke means. And
exactly, because you have to agree with something.
We have to hold their feet to the fire and make them just define when they call us a commie. I'm going, okay, well, name me the bill where we suggested that the United States should become a communist country, where we're going to change the political system and make our country communist. Can you name me the bill where we said we're going to seize guns? Can you name me the bill where because they keep trying to make the argument that we're trying to take guns. We're not trying to take guns. We're trying to regulate the people that hold the guns. There's a big difference. But if you're going to say we're going to seize guns, please name me the bill and the state or the federal Congress that said we're going to seize guns, that we suggested we're going to seize guns. And if you don't have that bill number handy, shut the fuck up. And we have to run that way. We have to constantly message that way, because that's defining the rules of engagement. That's defining the narrative. And every time we let them define the narrative, and this is what Republicans are really good at, it's defining long-term narratives that we're some kind of politically correct, woke, communist socialist party when we're far from it.
Sure.
And our policies have proven over the last 50 years to be the most business-friendly, economy-stimulating policies. Our 22 years of holding the presidency out of the last 50 years, the economy's always done better for business. Republicans.
Well, I do think that, Jenny, that the elitist title, I do think that can sometimes benefit whoever has that title. So, for an example, in the Republican Party, for many, many years, for many generations, the elitist Republicans like the Bushes, the Koch brothers, the Walton family, all of those families were considered the elitist Republicans. And Republicans really wanted to cater to them because they figured, well, they're successful. They must know what they're doing. So we need to support what they're doing. So I guess in a way, if someone calls the Democrats as being the party of elitists, I think sometimes we have to say, that's fine. If you want to call us the successful party, whatever term you want to use it. If you want to say because the top 20 cities are run by Democrats, the successful cities, that's fine. We'll take that. We'll take that hit. So
we have to define what elitist means. So
sure.
Again, a lot of times they just say we're intellectual elitists.
Yep.
But what they're
saying you're too smart.
I don't say it. That we're intellectual elitists that promote socialism and communism.
Sure. Yeah.
And that we're anti-American. And I'm going, well, if you're meaning that we're educated and our policies help American people, then we definitely don't hate Americans. And they keep putting that, glossing us with that. But what policy do we have where we hate Americans? Well, it forced them to define what hating our neighbors means. And again, it's forcing them to define and explain their narrative. And when they're forced to do it, they can't answer it. They have
because they don't really have it. I mean, their whole thing is just about hating others. And
they have memorized about 10 or 15 phrases, and they do this verbal diarrhea thing where they throw in as many of those catchphrases as they can. They sound like a commercial for a My Pillow, and they just say woke, elitist, blah 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 blah, communist, socialist, hates Americans, and they rinse and repeat these crazy ass statements, these wild accusations, and right then and there is where we gloss them as the chuckle fucks they are. We force them to answer those questions. We address it head on. If you address it head on, they're too stupid to answer their own accusations.
I agree.
They are. Their brain oozes out of their ears. They're like blah 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 blah, blah. Because MTG can't tell you what woke means. She can't. She barely knows what day it is.
So Jenny does. If you like what you're hearing from Jenny, she does have a show that comes on about 30 minutes after this. It's called Two Queers in a Truck. It drops every Wednesday at 11:30. It tapes before this one, so I know already what she has said. So I kind of bait her sometimes when we're on this show. So this next commercial is going to be talking about that, but then we'll come back and do 2 other segments. And so we'll be right back on Coffee and Pan Dulce right after this.
Up next is Two Queers in a Truck with Jenny and Christian. And hope you guys tune in. We'll see you in about 15 to 20 minutes. Thank you. Bye.
Well, welcome back, everyone. Welcome to Coffee and Pan Dulce. So don't forget to join Jenny's show every Wednesday. She talks about 6 great topics, and so join her at 11:30 on Two Queers in a Truck. So, all right, we're going to jump directly into our segment called the Pendejo Chronicles. And this is the Pendejo Chronicles. Okay, so Pendejo Chronicles. So Pendejo Chronicles, those are going to go good in our outtakes that happen at the end of the show. If you watch this show, at the very end, we do, I do put in some of the outtakes. So anyway, you have anything you want to read today, or other than, I mean, we actually had a lot of viewers over the last 2 weeks, almost 30,000, and a lot of listeners, and it was really pumped up a lot by the Billy Bob's concert that we posted. We had a lot of viewers, a lot of new people who are following our show because of that. So we haven't had a lot of trolls lately, surprisingly. I don't know why that is. I don't know if they've caught on that they're actually giving us more attention. But what do you think?
Well, we also got some positive comments.
Yeah, a lot of positive comments.
We've had a lot of people jumping in, and it's probably because I think a lot of our viewers we talk about it on the show a little bit more than we used to, because we got such a rash of negativity that a lot of people jumped in and started defending us. I have seen a couple unhinged comments lately. But I didn't have it queued up because I didn't know we were going to do it this week. But nothing like our creeper from Iowa. He's not commenting anymore. And it does go in streaks, and so I have a feeling when Republicans start getting in trouble, I see
they
that
start posting.
Start going up a little bit more. The comments, it starts churning the hate. And I'm figuring with the Trump verdict and the Santos indictment today, we're probably going to see some more closer. And it usually cranks up towards the weekend.
Exactly, that's true.
Because I think they think maybe we don't look at Facebook over the weekend or something. You can't really get inside the mind of these idiots. And these trolls. So you just never know when the trolldom will start. But I know the recent comments that were negative were more along the lines of our Hispanic Heritage Show. I saw a few comments lately, which we did last September.
Exactly. We're still getting comments on them. It
is for that we're injecting liberalism and wokeism into the deal, but several of our Latinx neighbors that like our show.
We've got a lot of people from around actually commenting and saying, I completely agree with you. So speaking of funny, we have a segment that we told you about a couple of weeks ago that we were going to tape. Jenny and I, as roving reporters, this past, as I said, you're watching this on the 17th, but last weekend technically was Cinco de Mayo weekend here all around the country. So Jenny and I took a camera, went out into the streets of Charlotte, North Carolina, one of the fastest growing cities in America, the 12th largest city in America. And we went out and interviewed people about what Cinco de Mayo was. Did they know why they celebrate it, and all the wonderful stuff? I had my own kind of implicit biasness and what I thought was going to occur. And so this next segment called Cinco de Mayo on the Streets is hear what they had to say.
The Coffee Pan Dulce Show presents CPD on the Streets.
This is Woody from Coffee Pan Dulce Show. We're out here talking to people about Cinco de Mayo and what they know about it and why we celebrate it. We're going to ask them
Show thanks the following. Manolo's Bakery, located in East Charlotte at 4405 Central Avenue in East Charlotte. And we want to thank all of our CBD Show viewers and listeners.
Welcome back. So listen, those were some responses that I did not expect, admittedly. So what were your thoughts about some of the responses that you got? Because we had quite a lot of people.
We interviewed, a little over a half dozen people or so. And consistently, I mean, we knew when we filmed near Manolo's, we expected it's a very strong Latinx Hispanic culture that lives in that area, and Manolo's is a Latin bakery, and so we expected pretty good responses over there. I wasn't shocked. When we got over to South End, I was really surprised how many predominantly young people not only had an idea of what Cinco de Mayo is, but the historical significance, and and that's what kind of surprised me was how knowledgeable people are. And the only thing I can attribute to that is that these people majority were young millennials or Generation Z. And we've said all along that, in this world of internet education, that the younger generations research things and have a knowledge of things and want to learn more and have access to things, including historical events. And so you see a more educated person. We still got a few people that had some pretty funny responses that weren't even close. And obviously the last interviewee was was having a good time, which is nothing wrong with that. Because our American celebration of Cinco de Mayo has nothing to do with the Battle of Puebla. It has nothing to do with history. It's designed to primarily sell cold beer, over Cinco de Mayo. And I don't think there's anything inherently wrong, because a lot of Tex-Mex places, a lot of Mexican food places typically do very well on Cinco de Mayo. In fact, usually play it quite a bit. Because I think smart is that if you're going to have a celebration like that, you might as well take advantage of it, and you might as well go with it. And because I don't think it's a bad thing to celebrate.
Well,
the Latin culture.
Kind of like you said, and I know you and I kind of talked about this afterwards, after we filmed and sat down for a while. I was pleasantly surprised on the intelligence and I was surprised. Because, unless you are around millennials a lot and our Generation Zs, and every generation thinks that next generation are, you hear they're lazy, they're here, things like that. These next two generations, you and I are Gen Xers, the millennials and the Zs, the baby Zs is what you call them. They're really, they know their stuff. They're woke. I hate to use the word. They're woke. They know their stuff. And I was pleasantly surprised, because had someone done that to us when we were younger, it would have been a Tonight Show kind of joke or a Daily Show kind of stuff. It's the stuff that you see the Daily Show going to Trump rallies and you hear buffoons and craziness? Because those people are very low educated, low information people, and they're usually boomers and Gen Xers or some really stupid millennials. And we did not witness that. I was very impressed.
But I think we all also, the big difference is that the two places we went, the two primary places we went, we did make a third stop.
Yeah.
But the two primary places that we spent the most time in, South End is a very affluent, very tech savvy type community, just off our uptown. And also Manolo's is in the heart of the biggest, largest cross section of Latin and Hispanic people in Charlotte.
Yeah.
If people don't know Charlotte's layout, we're not from here, but the East Side has a tremendously large and very proud, very beautiful Latin community. And I mean, Manolo's the owner, Manolo, and obviously is Latin, Hispanic as well, and a community advocate. And so we picked two places where they were going to be educated on this particular subject. They're educated in general. I think if we'd have gone to, a Trump rally and asked that same question, Republicans are low information voters in general. They're just not the sharpest tools in the shed.
Exactly. Yeah, and we would have gotten a lot.
I mean, there's no argument about that, because you can just watch their behavior over the last 7 years, and the fact that they encourage people not to wear masks during an airborne pandemic. That's all you needed to know about Republicans.
That's a good point.
As overnight, and so I'm like, well, we just keep wiping out your own.
That's
so. I think when the Daily Show goes to a Trump rally or a MAGA event of some type, the average IQ is pretty low.
And it's always so funny whenever I see or I hear a MAGA person complain about them being made to look stupid and crazy. It's like, well, exactly. I mean, there's not a lot of effort into making y'all look stupid and crazy. All you got to do is ask you a question, and you come across as stupid and crazy because you're stupid and crazy. So it's not we're tricking you.
They put it on full display, so it's not, we don't have to go out of our way to do it.
Exactly.
We're not misquoting them when they say this stuff. And we watch a Senator Daines talk about importing Mexican meth versus making, good American proud meth and things of that nature. And when you hear something like this dude's a senator, it's supposed to be the upper chamber, and he is saying crazy that even his colleagues were sitting there laughing on camera next to him, going, oh, this guy's none. One, he represents a state that's next to the northern border, and two, how stupid it is to lament the fact that Mexican meth is coming in and pushing out the good American homegrown meth like it's some kind of cash crop. And then you wonder why the Republican Party is the way it is.
Well, as you mentioned, I know we can go on and on about this, but we have actually run out of time. So I want to thank everyone who's joined us today. And Jen, do you have any final comments on any of the topics that we've talked about?
Well, I was just going to say and put a plug in for the Real Out Film Festival, which is today. This is 17th.
Okay, well, hold on a second. You can do that when you do where you're going to be next weekend. So, as Jen said, there's a Real Festival the weekend that you see this, so please, she'll be sharing that with you. But I want to let you know our last two shows of the spring. Next week, which I'm sure it's a clickbait show, but I'm sure we'll get, that's when our social media trolls will come back. Next week's show will be the Coffee Pan Dulce's Biggest Queens show, number 3. It will be Trump versus DeSantis. So we will have the competition. I don't know, maybe we'll have Barb back and she can help vote with that one. And then the last show of the spring, which is on drops on May 31st, America's Culture Wars. Is it really just a war between those with culture and those without? those are the last 2 shows of the spring, and then we'll go into our summer shows, which should be fun. We got Pride Festival. We'll be broadcasting or taping from Key West, and then we actually have Pride here in the North Carolina area, the Charlotte, North Carolina area. So we've got some great things in August as well. So with that said, Jen, tell us where you're going to be now. Tell us 30 seconds or less.
So we have an annual film festival in May for Charlotte Pride, and it's called Real Out. If you live or you're in driving distance of Charlotte, North Carolina, we post this online. It's on our website. It's on all of our social media, and the opening day is tonight, so May 17th. We have our short film offerings, and then Thursday through Sunday we have single features and double features throughout the week, and wrapping up, I believe, with 3 or 4 offerings on Sunday. And so there's a lot of opportunities to come out. It's a little fun. It's a little bit more low key than obviously a full blown Pride Festival, and it's centered around LGBT films. And so we've kept the ticket prices affordable, and you can buy a whole week long pass.
Sure.
The prices are online, and availability is limited due to the size of the theater. So get your tickets early and come out and see us.
Excellent. And I will be somewhere, probably camping or doing something. I don't know. I'll probably be at the Pride Film Festival for a couple of days when it starts. So we do want to thank everyone for joining us, and we will see you next week in Coffee Pan Dulce. And I think I have, well, I can't get I don't know why I can't get channels that we normally listen to, so we'll have to listen to this one. All right, so this song is actually called Small Town BS.
If somebody's cheating, thinking it's a secret.
All right. Pretty appropriate. Have a great day.
Exactly. Bye, y'all. We'll see you next week.
Hey, y'all. Thanks for watching. And we got a little country music this week. And so have a safe week. And thanks for watching Coffee Pan Dulce.
Bye, y'all.
Next up, thanks for watching Coffee Pan Dulce. Next up is 2 Queers in a Truck. Stay tuned.
Coffee and Pan Dulce. How's that? Coffee and Pan Dulce.
You sounded like a telenova. I mean...
Hold on. All right, here we go. It's crazy. All right. Hold on. Let me remain calm. Here we go. So what I'm going to do, Jen, we're going to go to the Pendejo Chronicles, and then we're going to briefly introduce the Cinco de Mayo clip, and then that's it. So, so if there's anything else you want to talk about, it'll be after the Cinco de Mayo. Okay.
Okay.
Here we go. We are going to go directly into our segment called the Panduje. All right, let's do this again. Let's take 2. Ready? Well, welcome back, everyone, and we're going to go directly into our segment that we have called the Pendejo Chronicles. Okay. Let's do it again. Ready? All right, we're going to jump directly into our segment called the Pendejo Chronicles. Okay, hold on, Jen. So what we're going to do is, so I'm going to insert that edited video right there, and then we're going to come back and you can talk briefly about it, and then we'll go into like closing the show. Okay, so here we go.